Hi, this is Jackie's Reading Room, and I'm your host, Jackie P. Have you turned some pages today? If you looked at the bookshelves that my family has at home, you'd see a wide range of books. You'd see cartoons and children's books, dictionaries, travel guides, several novels in English and in French, a small collection of books in Portuguese, and many works of nonfiction. I would say, especially when it comes to my husband's section. From talking to strangers to guns, germs, and steel, and including the Bitcoin standard, our nonfiction section is diverse and unique. You could find just about anything in there. Maybe you should come and have a look sometime. Now, many people enjoy reading nonfiction, whether it's a memoir or a self help book or one of the many for dummies titles. I'm sure they've helped more than one person out there. According to Publishers Weekly, in 2021, and I quote, adult nonfiction sales rose 4.4%, while young adult nonfiction sales increased uh, by 8.3%. And the sales of juvenile nonfiction, and I quote again, hit record levels in 2020. And you may remember what was happening back then. And that was because parents looked for books that could both educate and entertain their children who were stuck at home because of school closures, because of what we know, right? So nonfiction is just about everywhere around us. A lot of people I ask, actually, I think my students seem to be enjoying fiction more, but perhaps they haven't been exposed to nonfiction as much. Personally, I really enjoy reading nonfiction titles, not all the time, but regularly, I would say. And I was thinking that there's actually two main reasons why I love reading nonfiction. The first reason is I love to learn on various topics. I'm somebody who loves to learn about something that's happening, a new book that's coming out. You know me, though. It's a lot about reading about books and reading. I also love languages, so I love to look at some words in another language. With nonfiction, I find that it's a great way to learn about, for example, a person's life, their achievements, their struggles. Sometimes you can find yourself in those struggles, even if, let's say, you haven't experienced the same thing, right? So, an example of a nonfiction title that I read a few years back is called A House in the Sky by Amanda Lindhout. Amanda is a Canadian woman who was a journalist at the time in, I forget the country. Was she in? She was not in Pakistan, Thailand. She was out there on the other side of the ocean, and she was kidnapped. And I believe she was kidnapped for about a year and a half before she was released. And this is basically her memoir of that experience of, before the kidnapping, her love of traveling, the actual kidnapping itself, and then what she went through. It was at times, I have to say, quite difficult to read because emotionally it was very difficult as a woman myself who also loves traveling and who might have taken some eh, calculated risks, but you never know what can happen. So that was an excellent title, A House in the Sky. Another title that taught me a lot was Yes, Chef. This is by Chef Marcus Samuelson. Marcus was adopted from Ethiopia by a Swedish family with his sister, and then he basically learned how to cook with his grandmother and his mother, and then he became this very well-known chef. He's in New York now, I believe. It was fascinating because it's not an environment that I know, anything about, right? And the whole environment of being in a restaurant kitchen and learning that it's a lot of work. I have great admiration for anyone working in a restaurant doing anything, whether you're the chef, the sous chef, the waiter, the dishwasher. We need these people because when we go to the restaurant, right, for everything to be ready, we need all of that a team behind it. So I thought that was extremely interesting, and find out about Chef Marcus's background and what brought his love of reading, love of cooking. Sorry, love of reading. That's me. Love of cooking, and that was yeah, that was very interesting another type of memoir. The second reason why I like to read nonfiction is that some titles can actually help you see a different perspective on a given topic, or it could even help you at a certain time of your life. I may have talked about this before, that I believe that there are certain books that you're meant to read at a certain time in your life. I don't know if you believe that, but I really think so. Sometimes you'll pick a book and it doesn't work, but maybe a year and a half later you'll do it, and then you just dive right in. So it's happened to me before. One example of that, a nonfiction title that I read many years ago that definitely helped me a lot at that time is the now considered classic Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus by John Gray. This was published in 1992, but I saw that the international edition came out in 1994, and I was a 20 something year old back then. And so it's possibly around there, 1994, 95, that I purchased my copy. And if you flip through it, it's underlined, there's stars, there's little notes. I read this book from beginning to end, and I reread some passages at the time when I was a 20-year-old trying to understand how I could deal with men and find the one. That book really helped me, and there's even the technique of the love letter in there. Yeah, so I believe it's towards the end, how to ask for support and get it. And I use that technique, and it really helped me. So John Gray he's an American relationship counselor, a lecturer, and an author. He is 70 years old today. He's from Texas. He's also a family therapist. Now, I saw as I was doing my research that CNN considered that this title um, was the highest ranked work of nonfiction of the 1990s, and I'm not surprised. And then, of course, there's a lot more other books in that same vein. So Mars and Venus on a Date, et cetera, et cetera. But just this one book sold more than 15 million copies. Um, it was huge. Today, maybe not as much. And there's been some criticism. Um, it's been translated into 40 languages. But for me at that time, that book was something that really helped me see really men in a different light. And even to this day, sometimes I'll think, yeah, that's right. Men are from Mars. So that's why they want to try to fix women. And anyway, um, so I was reading that, some people have said that John Gray was working with stereotypes, but I think you can take what works for you, and in my case anyway, it really made a difference. Another nonfiction title that completely I don't know if it changed my view, but it really enlightened me on an aspect, or on a reality that I was just maybe semi aware of, is called The Chimps of Fauna Sanctuary. Came out in 2011, and it's written by Canadian Andrew Westall. Andrew is from Toronto, and I actually had a chance to meet Andrew and he actually signed my copy here. The Chimps of Fauna Sanctuary is the story of the Fauna Sanctuary, which is a place of refuge for chimps that were, for the most part, used in research for the, let's say, pharmaceutical or medical industry, and then they are sent there to finish their lives. And it's still to this day. I read this a few years ago. I even had some of my students read it. It's still one of the best nonfiction books I've read. First, because the language is beautiful. Andrew is super talented, and also because the research is incredible. The book takes you through Andrew's stay at Fauna Sanctuary. He spent a few months there, and he basically interacts and bonds with the chimpanzees, which I would love to do. It's not possible, but um, it's possible to visit, but not do what he did. And then all the research behind, how fauna came up, um, and the hurdles that the owner had to go through to uh, get it started, and the fight to end testing on animals, especially on chimps, because they are so close to humans. So I learned so much from that, and I was so impressed that I actually went on a tour of Fauna Sanctuary. That was obviously before the pandemic. I hope that they are going to resume the tours eventually, and you can basically, it's like you have a bit of a meeting. And then they take you around the grounds. You cannot get close to the chimps, but at some point you'll walk on a path, and it's a very beautiful spot, countryside close to Montreal. And you can hear them and you can see them like walking in those kind of like passages that it's a beautiful spot really for them to end their lives. I'm just telling you about this now. I have chills. Those animals, it's like they were my friends. And to have them, it's like come out of the page and see them there. It was quite to the moment. I'm waiting for my youngest daughter to be 12 years old, to take her there, because you have to be 12 years and up, because she loves animals, and I'm sure she would love to go in and at least even have a glimpse at the chimps. So hopefully you learned a bit more about nonfiction. Why not go to your local library and or bookstore and check out the most recent nonfiction titles out there? There's a wide range. My episode 3 is all about the memoir. So if you wanted to read more about that, not well, read. You can read more memoirs, and you can listen to that. There's a lot of ideas there, and hopefully, well, you can turn some more pages. All right. Until next time, take care.